Hi, guys. Just waiting on Dana. I was gonna give her another couple minutes.
No worries. Right. There's nothing left. No more treats. I'm dog sitting for my sister.
No, nice.
She
That little chihuahua.
yeah, she just dropped Lulu's 15 and she's
Oh my
got
goodness.
yeah, she has hearing problems and eye problems and all the
Old
things.
dogs. Yeah. Well, still cute, man.
I know. She's kind of my favorite.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I like the sweater. It's
Yeah,
sweater
right?
weather.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You're so cute. She's queen of the castle.
Mm.
So my sister dropped her off because she's going with my mom to get her, gosh, another MRI
Mm.
on
Oh
her
no.
neck, on her neck and spine. So I'm dog sitting.
Good luck.
Baby, it's okay.
All right. Are you ready to get started?
Melina, I'm sorry you're alone in there. I have another meeting at 10. I have to
Oh, that's
jump
okay.
over, so you're in a big room by yourself.
That's all right. Great. And we can call this Finance Committee meeting to order. We have all three of our trustees present, myself, and also John Zarkis is here as well. All right. To start us off, I thought Bevan was gonna join us this morning, but doesn't look like he's in yet. He wrote a letter to you all. This was an issue that he had last May with ADP. His personal account was hacked. he didn't realize it for about 4 payrolls. Someone got into his account, changed his bank information, and he lost about 4 payroll cycles worth of pay. I took away everybody's individual ability to change their bank account information to try and prevent this happening again, so that I'm the only one that can change bank information now. But he's been going back and forth. ADP kind of threw their hands up at this and said that it wasn't a breach of their system, which clearly it was. Wells Fargo threw their hands up and said that it wasn't their problem, basically. And I think that they did that because they are aware that it will cost him more to fight it legally than what he actually lost to begin with. And so this is what Gloria recommended that he do, because he's already spoken with Clayton several times. Clayton has also kind of, said that there's not really a whole lot that we can do if law enforcement isn't going to do anything, Wells Fargo isn't going to do anything, ADP isn't going to do anything. So she wanted him to write a letter and bring it to you all and see what you thought. We could reimburse him for the pay that he lost, or not. It's really up to you and the board how you want to deal with this.
I've got, I actually have some experience with this exact issue.
Mhm.
But it wasn't with ADP, it was with the payroll department.
Kind of
But
horrendous.
yeah, but one of our employees, they had entered the bank account information. They were off by like 1 digit, right? And so that money went somewhere else completely. And the payroll department was on the hook. They ended up having to pay, like, obviously we paid our employee because we were worried. It was a one-time deal. He caught it immediately.
Yeah.
And, so we paid our employee, and then we went after the payroll company and the payroll department, and they ended up having to pay us back. And I'm wondering if even just a little like help from the town, like showing that there's like, look, it's not a person on his own, because our employee didn't go do it. We were like, hey, we're the company that we use you. You guys need to make this right. There was also something in the paperwork that, if you had tried to have it reconciled within, whatever the time frame was, then because and that one was a mistake on our employee's part, and they were still on the hook. So I'm shocked that, if there was a breach of their system, that they're not on the hook for having to pay this.
Well, and I think part of the problem here too is one, ADP is such a large company that I don't think that they really care.
Yeah.
2, it was 4 payrolls that Bevan did not notice that he wasn't being paid.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was essentially 2 months before he realized that he hadn't gotten a paycheck. So by the time unfortunately, every time I call ADP, I'm getting a random person in, we don't have an actual team that is focused on our account, which is something that they told us we were going to have when we switched to ADP, and that was it was a lie. And so, and every time we put in so many service tickets for this particular issue, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just try and reverse the funds. I'm like, they're not listening to me. The funds are gone. Because what this person did, this person ended up being in Nashville, and they had moved there, they got into his account, they changed the bank information to this account in Nashville. And they were watching the account really, really closely because when I caught it and I changed it back to Bevan's within a couple hours, they had changed it to another bank account in Nashville and then another bank and then a bank account in Memphis a couple hours later. And so that's when I had to turn off the ability for them to be able to change anything in anybody's account. Because clearly they were just watching it and waiting for me to change back. And the bank in Nashville basically told us that they knew exactly who it was. They could see the person's account, they could see who it was, and every time that the paycheck went through, they went to the ATM and they immediately pulled it out. And so it was a very deliberate, obviously, they were stealing, but and Bevan's point with them was, well, if you know who it is, can you help me? And they said, well, you have to contact Nashville PD. PD has to come in here with a warrant for us to tell you who it is and for you to be able to press charges. I mean, the whole thing was very, very complicated. And Nashville PD basically told Bevan no. They said, well, that's not, you need to call your local law enforcement and they need to deal with it. And then local law enforcement told him that they don't have any jurisdiction because it was a bank in Nashville. So it's just the whole thing just kept going,
But
has been going in circles for over a year.
so there's nothing formal that's been submitted to the sheriff's office?
I mean, Bevan, we reported it to the sheriff's office when it happened last May.
And he has a case number and everything.
I don't know if there's a case number with our sheriff's office because our
'Cause
sheriff's office
there needs to be.
doesn't
Yeah.
have they can't do anything about this.
But he lives here, and in order to go after the insurance company and or ADP, he needs to have a case number.
Okay, yeah, well, I don't know. I would have to ask Bevan if they did create a case number for this or not. I'm not sure.
Just for the town to get reimbursed for anything.
What does Clayton say?
Clayton essentially said that because it would cost more than what Bevan lost to fight this legally, and because Bevan didn't catch this, and because ADP is also such a large company that they're not going to take responsibility, and it would cost more to fight them, that, I mean, it would probably be easier for us to just give Bevan the money that he lost. Or tell him, sorry, the answer is no.
And you have all the backup documentation?
That was I don't know if Clayton was in person or Zoom, that wasn't in writing, so no, I do not.
No, as far as the bank statements and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, the bank statements, all of the back and forth with ADP. I wrote a notarized letter for the fraud department of Wells Fargo. So, which that's what they asked Bevan for. They wanted a notarized letter from us explaining what happened, and then they went back and said, actually, we want a notarized letter from ADP, but ADP is obviously not going to give us that because they won't even admit that anything happened. So they're saying that it wasn't a breach of their security, that they don't have any record on their end of it being a breach of their security.
Do we have this? Bevan was the sole employee, right? That this hack happened to.
Yes, it was only his account.
And do we have any insight on how the hack happened and working with our IT? Like,
Nope, I think it was probably through one of his personal devices. It was either his phone or his laptop, his email. If his email got hacked, because ADP requires that you have both your work email and your personal email as a backup. And so if somebody hacked into his personal email, they could have just as easily gotten into his employee side of ADP.
yeah. And as part of our benefits, we don't have any like legal shield or identity theft shield benefit, right?
No, we do not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not about punishing Bevan for something that happened. I would like to see a full file kept on this with extensive backup. Um, I mean, I've had my debit card cloned or what have you by going through a gas station in somewhere in Alabama, but Alpine Bank shut it down right away. So
And that
I
was one of the things that he was the most, I think, upset about, is the fact that his paycheck with his name on it was being siphoned into somebody else's bank account, and the bank didn't do anything about it.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm having a hard time figuring that out. Like, why wouldn't that be? I don't,
right.
obviously,
well,
they've got
that's why
buildings full of lawyers.
That is why Wells Fargo has a fraud department. You would think that that's,
Yeah.
that, but they are also not being very responsive.
Nope.
I mean, I do think this is a cybersecurity. With my new job, I've taken hours of HR cybersecurity training, and it's not an uncommon thing, that basically, yeah, it's a common hack and threat for sure. But it's curious to me that ADP, like you said, Tyler, when you worked with the payroll department, like this is clearly a hack. This is not even a like typed it wrong, it went
No.
one payment. Like this is clearly a hack. And I would just like to see a little bit more, like if we have documentation, if Bevan has something filed with the sheriff's department, I don't have a problem Clayton writing a letter in some capacity, not saying like the town is going to file charges or something, but just some sort of
Yeah.
letter, something from the board of trustees, with our names on it, something like that, beyond the notarized letter that you did, Melina. I think if we put potential, I think to Jim's point, it'd be nice to kind of have this all in a very documented form, have a case with the sheriff's department, see if we can give direction to Clayton if there's some sort of letter or statement he can make, again, not indicating intention to file charges or something, but just something from the board, something from Clayton, something from the sheriff's department, and keep going to ADP. That'd be my
I mean, I think that maybe trying to get Wells Fargo to cooperate might be easier. I am very confident that ADP is not gonna do anything about this. I don't think that they're gonna care if you threaten them. I don't.
Yeah. And I'm
Like,
also just,
I mean, ADP is a company that we've been with now for a year and a half, and I would like to leave.
yeah,
They're
that's
terrible.
also, I was gonna follow up with that. Like, we've got to, like, if they are this uncooperative and this unhelpful for something that clearly actually wasn't, like, it was purposeful and it was, crime, that, we need to go with somebody else. I mean, I don't love the payroll department, but that at least
That's
you can
where-
talk to the same team every time and you're like, hey guys, me, and like, yeah, it sounds incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, I'll see if Bevan did ever file something with the sheriff's office. I know that he went to them when this first happened. I remember them telling him that this wasn't something that they could help him with because it wasn't the jurisdiction, which is why he started calling the police department in Nashville. So
But
there
they
is,
should have given him a case number anyway. I had somebody got a hold of either a checkbook of mine or were making checks of mine on one of my old accounts several years ago, and they were doing it in Texas. And the first thing that I was told was, you have to file a case. And I called our sheriff's office, and they said the same thing. They said, well, this is happening in Texas, so it's not our jurisdiction. But I also got a case number from them because nothing else could proceed, even with another police department. So I'm hopeful that they did the same thing for Bevan, because they definitely helped me with that. And they were like, look, there's not a lot we can do, but we can give you this case number that shows that you've contacted us. So, because that was a big key point, I think, for even the next police department to. So hopefully
Okay.
hopefully he's got that. And then we can, yeah, I don't know, like Dana said, send a letter that's just like, hey, this is, I don't know, disappointing. It's not much we can do, but I guess what do we want to do for Bevan and the missing salary?
I mean, technically, it's an open case. I mean, we can pay him back, and then we would have to fight as the town to go collect. And I remember when this first came up. I mean, it's been a while.
He's last May.
Okay.
He's been fighting on his own since last May, and that's when he's gotten nowhere. So. Not, and actually not on his own. He's had a lot of help from Clayton or at least assistance from Clayton. And, no, nothing has moved forward.
It seems like we have a few more questions for Bevan and maybe for Clayton.
Yeah, I was hoping that they would both be here today, but they are not.
Yeah. So should we put this for a regular board meeting? We can do it in executive session if we need to.
That's fine.
I would think that we should probably ask Bevan if he would prefer to do it, yeah, in executive session, or if there's some way to do it in executive session, it might be better.
I think that's fine. I think we can do it in executive session. Do you want me? The meeting on the 8th is already getting a little heavy. Do you want me to add that to the 8th, or would you prefer to put this in January?
Gone this long.
What does that mean, Jim? Put it sooner or keep it going?
Wait,
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have
we
another
having-
meeting after the 8th.
No,
Yeah,
we
right.
don't. I also, Jim, I will not be here on the 8th. I'm gonna be zooming in to that. I'm gonna be in Ecuador and which means that going in and out of executive session is gonna be on Derek, who is kind of new to this system. I would just.
No, I think that's again, that's another reason why we might need to push this off to have everyone's input. But I do think that certain measures and certain steps need to be taken. You need a case number. No one's going to take you seriously without a case number, because then if not, you're just some guy saying, "Hey, I lost my money."
Well, I know he has a case
Reimbursed.
number in Tennessee. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay,
About
Great.
here.
great.
Well, do we have that on file? Do we have a copy of all that? All the
Bevan
paperwork?
Bevan should have all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like to proceed, we need more information from Bevan and Clayton and have a discussion with the rest of the board. So if that can't happen till January, then let's put that on the January agenda. I hate to push Bevan off because this is not an insignificant amount of money to not have in your bank account. But I think we need more information from Bevan and more information from Clayton. So if we can't do that on the 8th, then let's put this as a priority for our first meeting in January, would be my.
So this would be executive session on January the 12th.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Melina, if you could follow up with Bevan on a couple of those questions we had in regards to the, case number with the local sheriff's department, and that Bevan or that Clayton would be able to speak to what some of our options might be. I know it sounds like Clayton has recommended that just spending the legal time on this is maybe more trouble than it's worth. And so, but I'd prefer to have that conversation all together with Bevan, with Clayton, and with the rest of the board. That'd be my.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And I'll have Bevan get together all of his documentation. I can give that to you beforehand.
That'd be great. And again, I know this was a time when there was recovering from illness and a lot of stuff going on. So I hope that we could be, certainly sympathetic and generous, but I just think we have a few more questions.
Great.
I have a few more questions.
And then in the meantime, Melina, are you actively working to move from ADP? And if so, are you moving somewhere new or are you going back to the payroll department?
I have reached back out to the payroll department.
Okay.
Because I know that I've heard that they've updated their online platform to a better system than what they were using before. I do like that they are, a team of four or five people that you're always dealing with.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But I have not had the capacity to
sure.
actually do it yet. So I would
Okay.
like to do that maybe before the end of the year, but I'm not sure if I'll have time. So we'll see.
Maybe too, another suggestion I have for into the new year is maybe looking into the cost of identity or legal shield benefit. I don't know if that's something we could offer employees, but I just think in this day and age where these kinds of things are getting more and more common, easier and easier to do, just like with AI, it's just becoming so easy to be a hacker. You don't even really have to know code anymore. So I'm curious the cost if we were to add that for as a benefit for any of our employees, how expensive that would be.
Yeah.
Okay. We can look into that. You need this, Pat?
No, you can keep that and I can make more copies.
Thanks, Melina. Thanks for your work on this with Bevan too. I'm sure you've worked really hard to work on the back end. So I appreciate you coming to the board for assistance because that is what we're here for, is to be advocates when we can.
All right. Next up, we've got our public works equipment purchase, and we have John here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So in your packet, I'll just go ahead and read the overview, this whole thing, and then you guys, if you have some questions, that's why I'm here. Public Works is requesting authorization to purchase a used John Deere 200 LC excavator from the city of Montrose. This unit is a 2003 model with approximately 6,000 operating hours. So I want to kind of stop right there. 6,000 is a lot in one respect. The good thing is of that 6,000, there's probably only about 2,500 hours that are actually work hours. The rest of those are just idle hours, and idle hours are not hard on the machine. It's just, it records the hours. And that's just from personal experience in Montrose. So this has been inspected and appraised by Honan out of Grand Junction Equipment, and they gave Montrose a price of $48,000. So I've been negotiating with Montrose, the fleet superintendent and the public works director, and they have offered the town of Silverton at a reduced price of $40,000. I've evaluated this and compared equipment through Wagner Equipment, Caterpillar, and found this price to be represent and highly competitive value. Acquiring this excavator would expand the town's ability to complete excavations and utility projects in-house, reducing resiliency on contracted excavation services and rental equipment. Funding for this purchase is available through current year's budget savings in the water, sewer, and streets budget. So, of course, being new to this job, I've heard that sometimes in the winter, there's a water break or something that needs to be dug up. It is a little hard with the backhoe that we have in our fleet. And sometimes that work was contracted out to the local contractors to perform at a pretty good chunk of money for those services. This is kind of one of the things I've identified stepping into this role, that some of our equipment is getting older and needs an upgrade. The budget impact for this is $40,000. I do have adequate funds through the current year-end savings of water, sewer, and streets budgets. No budget amendment is necessary. This is a one-time acquisition and is expected to reduce long-term operational costs. Staff recommends approval of this purchase of the 200 LC John Deere excavator from the city of Montrose for $40,000. This equipment is well priced, fully inspected, and will be strengthened public works capacity, complete critical infrastructure work efficiency and cost effectively. I did last week take Doug, who is our mechanic, and we stopped at the city and he was able to crawl around in it and look at this, look at that, everything. And his comment, well, this machine's pretty darn clean. It's got, I can tell you that it's the bucket on it was purchased about 2.5, 3 years ago. So it's a brand new bucket basically. So that's a little ahead of the game for us. And yeah, if you have any questions, that's
we've just been using the backhoe. Have we had an excavator this size ever, or have you guys just been relying on the backhoe for as long as I can remember to do all of the digs?
backhoe.
Yeah. No, this is long overdue.
The backhoe, from everything I've looked at, is 10 to 12 years old. Right now it's kind of bleeding money because every time something goes down on it, I got to get Caterpillar up here to work on it. So, and a prime example of this is we're doing the Anvil project, getting water and sewer put in down at Anvil. And when we first started it, we were digging a service line and it took us 2.5 hours to go 21 feet. And so at that point, I've been renting a 320 excavator from Caterpillar, and that is actually going through the Bear Creek down there, no problem. So you get the right machine for the right job. And actually 2 days later, after I made the call to do this, I got in it and I had 120 feet of trench opened up within about 40 minutes. So it's a cost savings on the long run. That's what I'm looking at. This machine will probably last Silverton a lot of years. We're not going to be putting a ton of hours on it, but to have it, the availability of it, even if something's going on with the county or what have you, it's a good machine for Silverton. So, and then we have the little Mini X, and that poor thing is beyond.
Yeah.
Why the savings to manpower hours alone pays for itself over time. And we do have the money for this
Yep.
through other cost savings.
Yep.
And they want it all in lump sum, or do they accept the payment plan, or?
That I can ask. I just think that if we can do it this year's budget, that would be great. And I'm still not, just to let you know, I'm still not done negotiating. I'm still trying to get that down there a little bit more because it is going to cost, I haven't dove into this part of it, still going to cost a little money to get it hauled over the hill.
Delivery,
with all that. So we lost them.
Oh, they're still there. It's just the screen.
We can hear you.
So yeah, I'm still negotiating. In fact, I have a call this afternoon with the fleet superintendent to kind of solidify a few things and work with them a little bit more. One of the ones I just went online to try and get another comparison just to make sure. I found a Caterpillar 320 in Omaha, Nebraska, which would cost a fortune to get here. It was a 1998 with about a little over 8,200 hours, and they still wanted 45,000 for that.
Mhm.
And I've been talking with Wagner. I kind of told her, this is what I'm looking at buying, purchasing. Find me comparable in Caterpillar. I talked to her Thursday evening and she said, yeah, there's good luck.
Yeah.
If there's anything out there within her reach, it almost had double the hours and was not worth our time nor effort to go after.
Yeah. I think this seems like a great lead to pursue, John. So if you can keep working on those negotiations. And so again, the budget impact would be for 2025's budget. And this spending on this amount does not impact our ability to start covering the USDA loan repayments for next year, right?
Nope.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would think keep the negotiations going. Do we need I'm just trying to think procedurally, this would then come before the full board, right? We're making recommendations to do the negotiations and then we'll present something to come to the full board at the next meeting or whenever.
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be my recommendation.
Yeah. And do we need to, is this time sensitive? Are they going to try and sell it to somebody else if we don't? Like, do we need to do, or can we get this on the next meeting's agenda? Do we need to get it on the next? Can it wait? What's the timeline for it look like?
Well, if we want it to be in a purchase for this year, then yeah, it'll need to be on the
Okay.
next. The
Oh
next.
yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Great.
And so typically Montrose, what they do is they'll put it on Gov Deals and throw it out there for the whole state to bid on and everybody else. I knew that they had this, and so I preemptively called them and said, "Hey, let us take first shot at this," and they
Yeah.
were good with that. So at this point, when I talked to the fleet superintendent this afternoon, I'll tell him, I've got to go to the board, and that's the December meeting, but consider it as of right now, and they'll hold it for us. So it doesn't,
Great.
it's not going to disappear between now and then.
Very good.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Thank
Thank
you.
All right, last up, we've got our September sales tax. As you can see, we are a little bit down from last year, but I think that was to be expected considering all of that rain that we got in September that kind of threw everybody off a little bit. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
I'm just going to be really curious to see that October number come in and see if our budget forecasting for revenues still feels good.
Yep.
And October seems so crazy because I heard people saying they were having amazing numbers the first like 2 weeks, and then the weather really, wreaked a lot of havoc.
September was terrific.
Yeah,
The first week and a half of October were great.
yeah. So I'll be anxiously awaiting the October numbers.
Maybe October will balance us back out. We'll see.
Well, yeah, but then the first 2 weeks of November, I felt like it was sunny and beautiful every day. Did that
Oh,
help
yeah.
us at all? Hopefully, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, and even, I mean, basically, we're looking at what, like $160,000 difference. Wait, what's the difference? I'm trying to see. So we'll just have to see. Yeah, like $160,000 difference from last year. So hopefully October is at least 160,000. We shall see.
I'll see.
And John's going to get us a great deal. That's yes, John. John says, yes, I am.
Yeah, great. Well, and I'm just looking here. I mean, July was kind of crazy. July was really crazy. So, yep, it's hard to predict.
Right. All right. You have anything else for me?
Thanks for all your work, Melina.
Sure.
And we have a finance committee meeting in December, right? Or I guess we'll see what's on the agenda.
Let's see what's on the agenda. I will actually still be in Ecuador on the
Yeah.
15th. So if you would like to either push it or just cancel it now, then we can do that.
What if we
Desperately need to discuss?
Yeah. What we would have the actuals, but we could put those in the December meeting.
Yep.
I don't know, colleagues, what do you guys think as far as agenda topics?
Yeah, I'm fine with the meeting in December if we want to do that, or pushing it, or just having that information go straight to the board, the full board. Either way.
I'm available, but if it's necessary, absolutely. Yeah, I just don't know looking at the.
Well, what if we wait, what if we check in, Melina, before you're out, to confirm, and if you just email the three of us to kind of indicate what may or may not be on the agenda, and then maybe we can make a decision.
Yep,
You
that's
could
fine.
check in with each of us and we can make a decision.
That's fine. If all we really have are just actuals, then we can just add that too.
Yeah. Great. Does that work for the committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wait a week or two and see what comes up.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Melina.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. What is
Have a
it?
good day.
9:41?
21.
All right. See ya.
Bye.